Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna. Yeah, I just, I usually don't say so much about when I'm in this. It's so wonderful to have Krishna as like your intimate friend, and it comes from this, and yet we need to know why. Well, you see, it disappeared gradually more and more, where people lost enthusiasm for chanting. So yesterday we were reading how this was originally preached, and this is how it's being preached now, is the Lord had the potency to chant. In South India it came, he gave it, he didn't give it out freely in Navadvip except to his, companions out there, his friends, because they were willing to receive. So he goes to South India, and there people, even he was expressing himself. See, he was chanting the holy name and laughing and crying and all, showing that intimacy with Krishna, which is a symptom of it. That in Vrindavan they're very intimate with Krishna. So, and it shows in these symptoms of ecstatic worship. And it seems kind of crazy to normal people, normal devotees, that are just normal devotees. So he goes there, and people were more receptive just to receive it. And that's how it's all a receiving thing when it's here. It's just the Lord came and advented because he, his devotees wanted him. He wanted to come. He wanted to give out this potency to make things easy for everybody. Otherwise, very difficult to chant this Hare Krishna mantra. It would just be like ritual. Like, he came there. People, the student community, were all chanting, but they're on the materialistic level of Vaishnavism. They couldn't get off it. It needed a person to come here with the potency. See? So the potency is basically personified as Radha. She's personifies taste for Krishna. See, the taste for Krishna reveals Krishna. The taste causes tears and choking and all these symptoms of true love, wonderful love, purifying love, You look at a devotee's face after they're chanting in ecstasy, they're purified. You can see it. You can begin to see it when you're made aware of it. So the Lord goes to South India. He's got the potency, but it's just like, like a woman, and a man. If they get together and become intimate, then there's some fruit, which is the baby, okay? So that's that level. So now there's the word of God, with the potency, with this bhakti, the bhakti lata bij, So, and we're all like these women, And so the man comes, the supreme man, which is the Lord, he comes to impregnate the woman. And we're all, it says the soul is like female. So impregnated, but not in the way of man, not born of flesh and blood like the book of John, but born of the word. See, born of the transcendental word spoken. That's why you need a living guru, living devotee. See, you're born of that word that they speak. See, and it goes into the heart and bears the fruit, not of a baby per se, material baby, but the birth of the spirit. See, the spirit of devotion, the Krishna in your heart. It's in everybody's heart. And then now you've got this name, and it's got the potency, and the water is the name, and it awakens the devotion. See, now the devotee and the Lord are coming together. That's what it means when you see the Lord and he's standing with his female potency. So the Lord in South India was impregnating people because they were like willing females. You know how a woman, if she doesn't like you, she runs away and she doesn't want to be impregnated. You see that in dogs. Sometimes it doesn't want to be, and the dog is running after to be impregnated to him, but the woman keeps running. So that's the way it is in this world. People run away from God, usually, this transcendental potency, because they're contaminated with the material potency. It causes one to go away from it. You don't want to hear from devotees. And so that's why, now people are standing up for me because, that's what they're doing. And so it causes people, it's not a bad thing. Jesus said, if people spit on you and hate you all for my name's sake, see, then rejoice, because your reward in the spiritual world is very great for standing up for the devotee. So what you do, those who do it, and so don't be surprised. This is just because you're standing up for the Lord is just empowering this fool here with this potency, so that whoever receives it becomes ecstatic like Johann. Everybody is getting inspired. Whoever is like receptive and open, and believes, surrendered and submissive, then they become more and more inspired and impregnated, and they cry more and and then again become more and more Krishna. Their heart grows more and more, Radha and Krishna. And then, so that's the process. So the Lord, people, you need to get clear on everybody. Vaidhi Bhaktas and everybody need to understand Chaitanya's way of doing this. So he impregnated people. He came in, his program was what everybody's against here. They say, this laughing and crying that goes on here, they were not against it, but they're against it here. They were against it in Navadvip. It was the student community. It says right there, Chaitanya, the student community wanted to instruct Lord Chaitanya how to chant and all that. See, they were contaminated with this Vaidhi Bhakti. See? So he goes to South India, and they didn't have this contamination. They just, wow, this is really, Raganuga Bhakti immediately took birth in many people because they saw this devotion and they thought, wow, this is amazing. Look at him, he's chanting God's name, and look how ecstatic he is. See? So they received they just accepted it, and they got the potency. Then they started chanting. Oh boy, I may have to start a new one here. But anyway, we'll keep going as long as we can. It may go on pause for a little bit because I have to clear out some things. Yeah, so he gave the potency, and those who received it, then they could chant with taste. And then they went back to their villages, and they became attracted, and they told people, wait a minute, this Lord Chaitanya, and he gave us this taste for chanting the names. It's so different than what we did before. And so they chanted together, and then it was, people got the taste also. And so that's how it's working here. The Lord is, I have this taste, I always had it, very, just came very easily, spontaneously, just by contact with devotional service, with Jesus even, and then with Prabhupada. Immediately it woke, really fast. Yeah, so it woke really fast. And so anyway, that's the process. So the devotees would pass it on to others. They would, just by their chanting. And so that's happening here. You see, it's right in alignment. People who are receiving it, they get it. The others are naturally attracted through aversion. They hate it, and they hate me. So don't be surprised. This is wonderful. This is proof of potency. That's what Jesus was. He was empowered with the message to give the spirit of devotion, just like the Lord Chaitanya's associates are also. So this is proof of potency. So when they go against it, when you're standing up, go hurry, blah 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 blah, and they go, blah, 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 blah. Hey, that's attraction, man. They're attracted by aversion. See, and that'll eventually turn to love. So don't be daunted. Just rejoice. Your kingdom and those. Not only, you don't have to wait for that reward. You'll start tasting it here. Like Krishnadas Kaviraj stood up for Miniketam Ramdas, the ecstatic devotee. See, we have all these examples. And Nityananda came to him in a dream. He was a servant of Nityananda. Nityananda came and said, because of standing up for my devotee. You chastised that Brahmin, your own brother. And thank you very much for standing up for my devotee. Go to Vrindavan, it's been given to you. See? Because he received it from Miniketam Ramdas. He was attracted and enough to even stand up for him. See, and that's how people here, you'll very easily attain when you get this and you start glorifying, hey, this is wonderful, and you'll see people, even like with Johann, people are getting inspired by his chanting now. See, so it passes on like that. So it's like a multi-level marketing of the holy name in truth, not just in like, where people are not getting the taste. It's just external. It's the internal. You get this. So that's how it's passed on, and that's how we're doing it, just following in the footsteps of Lord Chaitanya. Not passing on Vaidhi Bhakti, but it's already, when Prabhupada came in the dream, and then Krishna came to one of my first disciples, all at the same time. See? Prabhupada said, when I was passing this on to a few people, they're becoming ecstatic and crying and all this. Prabhupada said, this has my approval. You're doing exactly what I want you to do. You do more of this, and that's passing on the potency. See? So, it goes out like this. And then Krishna came to my first disciple and said her darshan was because of her guru. See, because this is the connection for people. And so as people start to see that's how it's working here, and then you get it, receive it, and then you can pass it on to others also. It's wonderful. Work out all your anartas and stuff. Quickly, by taste, whatever, is in the way of this relationship will just be removed. Isn't that beautiful process? Simple process, huh? So as I say, now that people are preaching, don't be daunted by that. That's proof that that there's the potency is here, because it causes that. When Krishna was here also, it caused Shishupal and many people like that. They went against him. They hated him, just like they hate me. Hey man, that's why Jesus said, hey, if they hated me, they're going to hate you. See? So the more you stand up, you'll see they'll start turning on you too, like dogs. But they're getting purified. That's why Jesus said, it's just going to happen. You're preaching something that is being planted in really rough soil. It's just, this world is full of maya and contamination, and so you're getting strong enough to stand up for the potency to be impregnated into people here. And most of the people are like these women, they want to run away from it. They don't want to be impregnated because they're all contaminated. See, they don't want to be touched by God, basically, like when Krishna came and started to touch Kalya. Kalya was fighting, no, get away from me, and then biting, attacking Krishna, all that poison came out by more and more contact, and then he became purified. So that'll happen too, and then there'll be people where the seed goes in, and like Sebastian said, yeah, it took 9 months to germinate, and then it started to sprout. He started to feel these things. See, and it's that taste that gets you, committed. So this is a thing of taste here, and the more taste you get, the more committed you'll be. That's why you want to keep watering this bhakti, and this association is here. Usually don't always have a sangha like this. Most are on the Vaidhi level. You see the Vaidhis, when they hear about ecstatic love, they fight against it, man. So how would you want to be in that association? People that show their colors, basically, they're showing you what we're pulling you out of here. Pulling you out of that association, all that envy, jealousy, hatred for God. They don't even know it, but that's their only way, is this rise up to condemn and bite and all that stuff. That's their way to get out of it. I could be quiet, and not say anything like I did before I got the order of Prabhupada, but then, this wouldn't be happening. People wouldn't be getting this potency. So I love following the order of Prabhupada, because look what it does. It's of course all this other stuff is coming, but look at the people that are delighted with this, who are receiving. They say, yeah, man, just give me that word, man. Keep talking, keep chanting, and they're getting more and more ecstatic and say, yeah, this is what I want. See, if you really want this, if you're at that stage and you come here, then the word, see, Jesus called it the word of the kingdom, and the word bears fruit. See, the fruit of this fruit is this loving devotion, worship in the spirit of devotion. There's nothing like it. It's wonderful. Then God becomes your intimate friend. See, generally, people don't have contact with that Supreme Lord because they're cut off by the Maya. All that hatred is in the way. You see, it's got to come out, get out of there. See, and so that we can worship the Lord in loving ecstasy. I mean, in truth, am I doing anything wrong? What is the wrong thing here? What, giving out this ability to chant with that? Isn't that what they really want in their heart? They just don't know it. What are they following Krishna for? Of course they want to, but they don't know. They think this looks the opposite of what it is. This rope looks like a snake to them. See, even in religion. So that's why Lord Chaitanya and Jesus, they went outside of their hometown. See, because people were more receptive. See, these people are like from my home, you could say hometown, because they know me and I went through all these things, and they say, oh, he can't be a real devotee with this potency. Look, he was a Christian and he went against Prabhupada and Krishna and all these things, which was part of my training, He went to this guru and that guru and all. Yeah, it was, we just had to go and learn things. And so they won't receive, but there are people, I went outside of my hometown, mainly like Europe, and people are receiving and saying, yeah, very good, this is wonderful. See? So, and eventually that'll help these devotees understand, so see how it's kind of the same kind of pastime when the deliverance is here. Lord Chaitanya was the same thing. He came in his hometown, only his intimate associates accepted, but the general people were, oh, they're a student community. Oh, what are you doing? Oh, what is this ecstasy? Throw Srivasa's house in the Ganga. What is this ecstasy? Okay. So it was like that, and so the Lord goes out, see, and Jesus said, see, it's always a prophecy. A prophet is never accepted in their hometown. So he wasn't accepted, took sannyas, went to South India, and people started to receive it. And then it changed the minds of people in Navadvip. They said, okay, we're back here. Clear something out. Okay, so, figure out what I was saying. So that's it, man, It's a simple process. This should help devotees understand, This is so in line. It's so perfect. It's the way the Spirit was passed when Jesus was here 2,000 years ago. It's the way the Spirit was passed when Lord Chaitanya was here. And the way we're passing it here. We're so in the real mind, because it's the real Spirit, therefore it conforms to what we read in the real Shastras, in the real book, in the real examples of how this bhakti is awakened in others. Otherwise, if they don't receive it, they can't chant like this. They just have to stay in all this this level of hypocrisy, all these hypocritical leaders often. I mean, it's all of them, but they don't have the right. You can see on the threads what people think. You see they're so inconclusive, and it leads them in the dark, not in a clear way. Like for example, one guy was saying, "Oh, well, you shouldn't say your guru is better than mine, everyone, because all gurus are uttamadhikaris." Now, after you come here to a few classes, but you see people believe that. Oh, all gurus are uttamadhikaris. and they run right headlong into a hypocritical guru, because all gurus are definitely bona fide. See, this is what's sometimes being taught, and people believe that. That's a contamination in one's understanding, because it's like you're playing Russian roulette. There might be a bullet in the cylinder, and you go to a guru and say, well, my understanding is all gurus are bona fide, and you go to a hypocrite or a liar or a cheater, a person who's just put the sannyasi thing on just to make money, and control you or whatever it is, and you go, oh, please tell me what to do, and just give me your energy. See, your Shakti, which is full of envy. Not all are like that, but you see how you play Russian roulette. No discrimination, no independent discrimination, nothing. Okay? So anyway, people come here because of this ecstatic potency. You become more and more clear. Even my students, they get up and say, what is this nonsense? You're teaching, you're acting as an authority and say all gurus are uttamadikari. That doesn't make any sense. That is so, see, you get some, logic and clear thinking here. Why? Because Bhagavad Gita 10:10, we're worshiping the Lord here in ecstasy. Not only me, look at Johan's realizations. He's worshiping the Lord ecstatically. Look, it gets really clear, and he's looking in Chaitanya saying, wow, this is amazing. See, that's how it is for me. And he becomes like that, and you'll all become like, the more the potency manifests and you feel this bhav, man, and then praying. Then all of a sudden you look at the Shastras, it just makes so much sense. It's like so clear. And then you look, everybody else practically doesn't understand it, except you. So that's kind of how it works, huh? See? Right in line here. So much in line that people can't believe it.